Very good morning. My name is Komal from BSc Final Year Chemistry Honors. Now I may read a chapter Spectroscopy Nuclear Magnetic Resonance for Visual Impaired Student. Introduction. During the last 6 decades or so, spectroscopic methods such as ultraviolet, infrared, nuclear magnetic resonance, and mass spectrometry have emerged as powerful tools for identification and structure determination of organic molecules. The ultraviolet and infrared spectroscopies have already been discussed in detail. Therefore, in this unit, we will discuss nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy, which was discovered by Flick Bloch and Edward Berkeley in 1946. The field of NMR spectroscopy has been further divided into number of subfields depending upon the magnetic nuclear being examined. For example, proton magnetic resonance, carbon magnetic resonance, fluorine magnetic resonance, phosphorus magnetic resonance, etc. However, in this unit, we will discuss only proton magnetic resonance and the basic principle of NMR spectroscopy. Magnetic property of nuclei. Like electron, the nuclear particle proton and neutrons are also considered to spin about their axis. Further, like electron, each proton and neutron has a spin quantum number of 1/2. If the proton and neutron in a nucleus are not paired, the nucleus as a whole will have a resultant nuclear spin. First, the numerical value of the nuclear spin quantum number I then depend upon the number of proton and neutron having parallel and anti-parallel spin. It is related to the mass number and atomic number as follows. Atomic mass, atomic number, nuclear spin quantum numbers is denoted by I. Odd, atomic number is even or odd. Nuclear spin quantum number have 1/2, 3/2, 5/2, etc. Atomic mass even, atomic number even, then nuclear spin quantum number is 0. Atomic mass is even, atomic number have odd, then nuclear spin quantum number 1, 2, 3, etc. In agreement with the above general rules, first, nuclei such as hydrogen, proton, 13H, 613C, 715 nitrogen, 919 fluorine, 1531 phosphorus, etc. all have a I 1/2. मतलब spin quantum number have 1/2. Boron, sodium, chlorine, bromine, etc. have 3/2, and oxygen has been found to have 5/2 spin quantum number. Nuclei such as helium, carbon, oxygen, sulfur all have 0. It is fortunate for organic chemists that carbons and oxygen are non-magnetic, otherwise the NMR spectra of organic molecules would have been much more complex. Third, nuclei such as hydrogen मतलब deuterium and nitrogen have 1, while boron has spin quantum number 3. Now, since an atomic nucleus is associated with charge, therefore, like any other rotating charge, it generates a magnetic field along the axis of its spin. Therefore, such as nucleus behave as a tiny bar magnetic and have a characteristic magnetic property, momentum mu. Now, nuclear spin state. When a number with I greater than 0 is placed in an external magnetic field, it is found to have a set of discrete orientated with respect to the applied magnetic field. These various orientated are referred to as spin state. For a nucleus with spin quantum number I greater than 0, there are 2 I plus 1. allow spin state which differ from one another by unity. The various spin states are given by -I dot comma -I plus में 1 dash I minus 1 comma plus I. Thus, it follows that nuclear spin states like electronic and vibrational states are quantized. For example, a proton hydrogen nucleus with I is equal to half has two allowed spin states. 2 half plus 1 is equal to 2 designated as -half and +half. For chlorine with I is equal to 3/2, there are 4 allowed spin states. 2 into 3/2 plus 1 is equal to 4 designated as -3/2, -1/2 plus 1/2 and plus 3/2. In the absence of a strong external magnetic field, the nuclear spin of a magnetic nuclei are oriented randomly. However, when these magnetic nuclei are placed between the poles of a strong magnet, they either align with the field or opposite to field. When a compound containing hydrogen is placed in an applied external magnetic field, the proton may assume one of the two possible orientators. With respect to the external magnetic field, the two possible orientated spin states do not have the same energy and hence are not equally populated. The orientator in which the spin of the nuclear magnetic are aligned parallel I is equal to half to the external magnetic field is slightly lower in energy and hence the spin state is slightly favored over the other orientations I is equal to -half, in which the spin of a nuclear magnetic are aligned anti-parallel to the external magnetic field. The difference in energy between the two spin states is defined as delta E. In general, the value of a delta E is very small, but the magnitude depends upon the strength of the applied magnetic field. From figure 2.3, it is clear that when H0 is equal to 0, delta E is equal to 0. In the absence of a magnetic field, the two spin states of a proton have equal energy. However, as the strength of the applied field increases, the energy difference between two states increases. At a field strength of a 14,100 G or 1.41 Tesla, delta E is equal to 2.39 into 10 की power minus 5 kilojoule per mole, while H0 is equal to 23,500 G or 2.35 Tesla, delta is equal to 3.97 into 10 to the power minus 5 kilojoule per mole, where G is ghost and T is Tesla, are unit of magnetic field in series and SI unit respectively. Further, 1 Tesla is equal to 10 to the power 4 joules. Now, principle of nuclear magnetic resonance. To understand the principle of a nuclear magnetic resonance, let us consider the motion of a common spinning top. When the spinning top is disturbed a little, its spinning axis will trace out a circle perpendicular to the earth, gravitational field as shown in figure A. Such a motion is called precession. In a similar way, when a nuclear magnetic is placed in an external magnetic field, it will experience a torque force perpendicular to the axis of the nuclear magnet, which will tend to align it with the field. Since the nuclear magnet is spinning, it will not align with the external magnetic field but will press around it. B. With a certain angular frequency omega called the precessional frequency or the Larmor frequency. The frequency at which a proton will press will depend upon the strength of the applied magnetic field. Stronger the applied field, higher is the precessional frequency for a proton. If the applied magnetic field is 14,100 joules, the precessional frequency will be 16 megahertz, 60 million cycle per second. Since a proton has two allowed spin state, I is equal to half and I is equal to minus half, it can present its two principal orientators, one aligned with the applied field low energy and other opposed to the applied field high energy. It is possible to induce transition between these two orientators by irradiating the precise nuclei with radio waves of correct frequency. When the precessional frequency of a nuclei is exactly equal to the frequency of electromagnetic radiation, the absorption occurs and the nuclei in lower energy spin state flip to the higher energy spin state. When this occurs, the nuclei and the radio frequency beam are said to be resonance, and since resonance is due to magnetic property of the nuclei, it is called nuclear magnetic resonance, abbreviated as NMR. The exact amount of radio frequency energy needed for resonance depends upon the strength of the external magnetic field and on the nuclei being irradiated. Delta is equal to h mu is equal to gamma h upon 2 pi h naught. Where delta is equal to energy difference between the two spin states, h is equal to Planck constant, gamma is equal to gyromagnetic ratio. It is the ratio of magnetic momentum to the angular momentum and is constant for each nucleus. For a proton, the value of a gamma is equal to 26,750. It may, however, be noted here that a NMR instrument with a magnetic field strength of a 1.41 Tesla and operating at a constant RF of a 60 MHz can induce transition only among proton spin states in a molecule and is not useful for the other nuclei. Therefore, separating instruments are required to observe transition in the nuclei of other elements such as a carbon, phosphorus, fluorine, etc. However, the modern more experience of a nuclei of several different elements in a single instrument with 200 and 300 MHz are now quite common, and instruments with frequency up to 1800 MHz are found in the advanced research institute and bigger universities. We have discussed about that the energy difference between the two spin states of a protons at 60 MHz is just 2.39 into 10 to the power minus 5 kilojoule per mole. Since this energy difference is too small, thermal energy due to room temperature is sufficient to populate both the spin states. There is, however, a slight action of a nuclei in the lower energy spin state. The magnitude of the difference can be calculated by using Boltzmann distribution equation. The following equation gives the Boltzmann ratio of a nuclear spin in the upper and lower state. Nuclear upper upon में nuclear lower is equal to E minus delta E upon में KT is equal to E is equal to minus H mu upon में KT. Where delta is the energy difference between the upper and the lower spin state and the K is the molecular, not molar, gas constant. Using this equation, we can calculate that at 298 Kelvin for any instrument operating of a 60 MHz, there are 1 lakh 10 lakhs 9 nuclei in the lower spin state for 1 lakh 10 lakhs that occupy the upper spin state. In other words, in approx 2 million nuclei, there are only 9 more nuclei in the lower spin state. These excess nuclei are the ones which are responsible for the NMR signal. When the 60 MHz radiation is applied, it not only induces transition upward but also stimulates transition downward. When the population of the two states become exactly equal, we observe no net signal. This equation is called saturation. Therefore, while performing an NMR experiment, care must be taken to avoid saturation. Saturation is achieved quickly if the power of a RF signal is very high. If we increase the operating frequency of the NMR instrument, the energy difference between the two spin states increase with cashews and increase in excess population. Example 1600 MHz, 32 at 200 MHz, 48 at 300 MHz, and 96 at 600 MHz. In other words, at higher operating frequency 20 MHz, 30 MHz, 60 MHz, etc. more nuclei can undergo transition. Therefore, the sensitivity of instrument increased and the resonance signals are stronger. PMR spectrum, origin of signal. In principle, a PMR spectrum can be obtained by placing the substance containing hydrogen nuclei or proton in a magnetic field of a constant strength and passing electromagnetic radiation of a varying frequency through the substance and observe the frequency at which radiation is absorbed. In practice, however, it has been found more convenient to keep the frequency of the electromagnetic radiation constant and vary the strength of a magnetic field. At some value of a field strength, the energy required to spin the proton matches the energy of electromagnetic radiation. At this stage, absorption occurs and a signal is observed. Such as the spectrum is called PMR spectrum. The PMR spectrum is a plot of intensity of absorption along y-axis against magnetic field strength along x-axis. By convention, magnetic field strength increase from left to right across the chart since the magnetic field strength and the frequency are related by the equation. Strength is equal to mu h naught upon me hi is equal to gamma h naught upon me 2 pi. The position of any absorption signal along the x-axis can be expressed in either field of view or the frequency unit. A typical NMR absorbed signal. We have discussed above that a PMR signal is obtained at some value of the field strength at which the energy required to flip the proton becomes equal to the energy of the electromagnetic radiation. Therefore, we may expect that all the proton in an organic molecule will absorb at exactly the same field strength. Consequently, the PMR spectrum would consist of a signal and it will be of a little use to the organic chemist. In practice, it has been found that all the protons do not absorb at the same frequency. This is due to the reason that the frequency at which proton absorb depends upon the magnetic field which that proton actually feels, and the effective field strength is not exactly the same as the applied magnetic field. This effective field strength with a proton field depends upon its local environment. Electron density around the proton and the presence of a other proton is its neighboring. In other words, each proton or more precisely each set of equivalent proton will have slightly different environment than every other set of equivalent proton and hence will absorb a slightly different applied field strength to experience set of equivalent proton and hence will absorb a slightly different applied field strength to experience the same effective field strength at which the absorption occurs. Thus, it follows that at a given radio frequency, the proton having different environment experience the same effective field strength but absorb at different applied field strength. Since in an PMR spectrum absorption is plotted against the applied field strengths, a PMR spectrum will consist of a number of absorption signals which would be very useful in determining the structure of molecule. NMR spectrometer. we have discussed about that there are two ways to scan an NMR spectrum, either first by keeping the magnetic field at node constant and changing the frequency of a radio frequency oscillator, or by third keeping the frequency of the radio frequency oscillator constant and changing the magnetic field. In practice, however, NMR instruments which work at constant radio frequency are used since they are easier and cheaper to construct. Such instruments are called continuous wave or CW spectrometer. The schematic diagram of an CW NMR spectrometer is shown. It consists of a following part. First, a powerful electromagnet whose strength can be varied. Second, a radio frequency generator. Third, a detector which monitors the absorption of energy and amplifies the electronic signal. Fourth, a recorder which records the spectrum on chart paper, which is calibrated in frequency and ppm unit. Fifth, a 5 mm wide long sample tube. The sample is dissolved in a suitable solvent which does not contain proton, usually CCl4, and it's pumped around its axis to ensure that the part of a solution experiences a relatively uniform magnetic field. In between the poles of a magnet, there is a coil which is attached to a 60 MHz RF generator. This coil supplies the electromagnetic energy used to change the spin orientation of proton. Perpendicular to the RF oscillator coil is a detector coil. More advanced NMR spectrometer known as a Fourier transformer (FT). NMR spectrometers are now available. In these instruments, magnetic field is held constant and radio frequency is varied. While a CW spectrometer takes 2 to 5 minutes to scan the PMR spectrum (PT), FT NMR instrument can record a spectrum within 5 seconds. Now, solvent used in PMR spectroscopy. Any solvent which does not contain proton can be used in PMR spectroscopy. The most widely used solvent is dedicated chloroform. Other solvents which are commonly used in PMR spectroscopy are: first, carbon tetrachloride; second, deuteration acetone Cd3(2CO); third, deuterated dimethyl sulfoxide DMSO-D6; deuterated benzene, etc. Trifluoroacetic acid is also used, sometimes even thought it contains a proton. The reason being that the acidic proton absence at a very low field and hence does not interfere with the absorption of most of a compound, which usually occur in range 0 to 10 delta. Number of NMR signal equivalent and non-equivalent proton. We have discussed above that in a given molecule, proton with different environment absorb at different field strength, while proton which have the same environment absorb at the same applied field strength. A set of a proton are said to be equivalent if they have the same environment, and non-equivalent if they have different environment, since each set of a equivalent proton produce a different signal. Therefore, the number of a signal in a NMR spectrum tell us to how many different sets of a equivalent proton or how many different type of proton are present in a given molecule. The two protons are chemically equivalent, otherwise not. If we may noted that in general, chemically equivalent protons are also magnetically equivalent and thus give rise to a same signal in the PMR spectrum. Let us now illustrate this magnetic by considering a few examples. First, the molecule of ethyl chloride contains 3 methyl and 2 methylene protons Replacement of a methyl proton would give ZCH2CH2Cl, and replacement of a methylene proton will give CH3CHZCl. These are obviously different products. Therefore, methyl protons are not equivalent themselves, since the replacement of any one of them gives the same product ZCH3CH2Cl. Such pair of protons are called aneuptopic proton. This and the environment of these two protons are mirror image of each other, and hence are magnetically equivalent to each other, and thus give rise to one signal. If the PMR spectrum is scanned in an achiral solvent. However, in a chiral solvent, the two protons would become magnetically non-equivalent and would give the two signals. Now, position of signal, shielding and de-shielding. We have discussed about that the number of a signal in a PMR spectrum tell us how many different type of protons are present in a given molecule. In a similar way, the position of a signal tell us what kind of a proton they are. In other words, the position of signal tell us the actual environment of the various proton, and thus indicate the nature of proton, whether the proton are alphabetic, primary, secondary, tertiary, aromatic, vinylic, acetylenic, are adjacent to hetero atoms such as oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, halogen, etc. When a molecule is placed in a magnetic field to get its PMR spectrum, the applied magnetic field captures the circulation of electrons surrounding the proton. This circulation of electrons produces a secondary magnetic field called the induced magnetic field. This induced magnetic field may either oppose or reinforce the applied magnetic field. For example, circulation of electrons in sigma bonds surrounding the proton generate an induced field which opposes the applied magnetic field. On the other hand, circulation of electrons, particularly the pi electrons, generate an induced field which may either oppose or reinforce the applied field acting upon a proton depending upon its location in the induced field. For example, circulation of a pi electron in benzene derivatives produce an induced field which reinforces the applied field at proton. Similarly, circulation of pi electron of the CH2 double bond O group reinforces the applied field at the proton. When the induced field opposes the applied field, the actual field acting on the proton decreases and the proton is said to be shielded. In order to get an absorption signal from the shielding proton, and the applied field has to be increased somewhat to get the some effective field strength at which absorption occurs. Thus, shielding shifts the absorption upfield. On the other hand, when the induced field reinforces the applied field, the actual field acting on the proton increases and the proton is said to be de-shielded. Obviously, to get an absorption signal from a de-shielding proton, the applied magnetic field is to be decreased somewhat so as achieve the some effective field strength at which absorption occurs. Thus, de-shielding shifts the absorption downfield. For example, the induced field opposes the applied field at proton 2 of acetylene, which is reinforced the applied field to a proton of benzene. As a result, acetylene products are shielded and absorbed unfilled, whereas benzene protons are de-shielded and absorbed downfield. Chemical shift. The shift in the position of a PMR signal resulting through shielding and de-shielding by circulation of an electron in chemical bond is called the chemical shift. Proton is most of the usually type of a organic compound absorbed over a range of a 700 Hz at a field electron strength of a 14,100 Gauge. At the field strength, proton absorb at a frequency of about 60 into 10 to the power 6 Hz. The shielding and the deshielding of proton by electron produce very small change 1 in 10 to the power 8 in the strength of a applied magnetic field. This small change in the magnetic field strength cannot be determined accurately. Consequently, the absolute position of the PMR signal cannot be obtained from the instrument as in case with UV and IR spectrometer. However, relative proton frequency can be greatly determined with an accuracy of about plus minus 1 Hz. Therefore, chemical shift of proton are expressed in Hz or CPS with reference to a particular standard. It may be noted here that even though the chemical shifts are expressed in Hz, it does not mean that the frequency of electromagnetic radiation is being varied. In actual practice, it is magnetic field which is varied since the frequency and the strength of magnetic field are related by the equation V frequency is equal to gamma at 0 upon 2 pi. The frequency units are justified. The most commonly used reference for PMR spectroscopy is tetramethyl TMS CH3,4SI formula. It is used as a reference compound for the following several reasons. First, it has 12 magnetically equivalent protons, therefore a very small amount of TMS produces a relatively large single sharp signal. Second, TMS proton absorb at a field much higher than the proton in most of usually organic compounds. This is due to the reason that silicon is more electropositive than carbon. It thus pushes electron into the methyl group of TMS by plus I effect. Third, it is chemically inert and is also highly volatile. Therefore, after the spectrum has been scanned, the aqueous sample can be recovered by the removal of a TMS by evaporation. Fourth, it is highly miscible with most of organic solvents. Unit of chemical shift. We have stated above that the chemical shifts are expressed in Hz as the difference in frequency of absorption of a particular proton in organic compound and the proton of a reference compound, but we know that chemical shift is proportional to the strength, the applied field or the radio frequency used in the instrument. Since different NMR spectroscopy have different oscillator radio frequency such as a 40, 60, 100, 200 MHz, it is desirable to express the chemical shift is some unit which is independent of the field strength. The most commonly employed unit is parts per million of a oscillator frequency. To do this, the chemical shift is Hz in multiple by a factor of 10 to the power 6 and divided by the oscillator frequency of instrument. For example, the proton of acetone absorbed at 126 Hz downfield from TMS at 60 MHz. Its chemical shift 126 into 10 to the power 6 upon 60 into 10 to the power 6 is equal to 2.1 ppm. However, if the spectrum of acetone is scanned at 100 MHz, the proton will absorb at 210 Hz downfield from the TMS, but the chemical shift will still be 2.1 ppm to 10 into 10 to the power 6 upon 100 into 10 to the power 6 is equal to 2.1 ppm. It may be noted here that the factor 10 to the power 6 is included in the numerator simply for convention to avoid the fractal value. From the above discussion, it follows that the chemical shift to Vihan reported in ppm are dimensionless and are independent of the field strength or the oscillator frequency of the instrument. Therefore, they are simply a function of a chemical environment of the proton in the given organic molecule. Scales of a chemical shift. In the terms of ppm, the chemical shifts are expressed in the following two scales. First, the delta scale, where delta is equal to delta frequency in hertz into 10 to the power 6 upon oscillator frequency in megahertz. Second, tau scale, where tau is equal to 10 omega minus delta. On this scale, the position of a TMS signal is taken as 0.0 ppm, and most of chemical shifts have delta values between 0 to 10. A small delta value indicates a small downfield shift, while a large delta value has a large downfield shift. In other words, shielded protons have low delta value, whereas deshielded protons have large delta value. On the tau scale, the position of TMS signal is assigned a value of a 10.0 ppm, and most chemical shifts have value between 0 to 10. Here, a small tau value refers to an absorption at a low field, and a high tau value indicates a high field absorption. In other words, shielded protons have a high tau value, whereas deshielded protons have low tau value. It may be noted here that some compounds have protons which are even more shielding than those of TMS. Their chemical shifts are assigned either negative delta value or more than 10 tau value. This is the example given. Now, chemical shift of a different type of proton. We know that the chemical shift of a proton depends upon its electronic environment. In a given molecule proton, which is the same environment, equivalent protons have a same chemical shift, while protons in different environment. Non-equivalent protons have a different chemical shift. In other words, a proton with a particular environment will have almost the same chemical shift regardless of a molecule in which it occurs. Therefore, from the position of a signal in the PMR spectrum of a sample, we can safely tell us to what is the electronic environment of each type of proton in that of sample. The chemical shift of a different kind of proton relative to TMS are given in table. It should be noted that the chemical shift given for each type of proton may show a slight variation, since the chemical shift of a proton also depends to some extent on the overall structure of a molecule, solvent, temperature, and concentration of sample using for scanner PMR. Characteristic proton chemical shift value given. Example: primary have RCS3 0.99. Now, factor affecting chemical shift. Some of the important factors which influence the proton chemical shift are: first, inductive effect; second, anisotropic effect; third, hydrogen bonding. First, inductive effect. The proton chemically shift in delta value simply increase as the electronegativity of the atom attached to a carbon atom bearing hydrogen increase. This is due to the reason that -I effect of electronegative atom decrease the electron density around the proton, which causes deshielding. Thus, higher the electronegative, higher the deshielding, and hence higher the delta value of a chemical shift. For the greater the number of a halogen atom, greater is the deshielding. For example, CH3Cl delta 3.0, CH2Cl2 greater हो गया halogen length delta is equal to 5.30, CHCl3 delta is equal to 7.25. At the distance of proton from the halogen increase, the deshielding also decrease. For example, CH3CH2Cl delta is equal to 3.4, CH3CH2Cl delta is equal to 1.7. Second effect, anisotropic effect. We have discussed in section 2.8 that the circulation of a pi electron may either shield or de-shield a proton depending upon its location around the pi electron. Such effects, which depend upon the orientation of the proton relative to the induced field, are called anisotropic effects. Thus, mainly due to the anisotropic effect, partly due to the sp2 hybridization, the olefins and the aromatic protons 7 to 8 ppm are much more de-shielding than proton on a sp3 hybridization carbon. Aldehydic protons appear even further downfield than aromatic proton, mainly due to the anisotropic effect and partly due to the -I effect of the electronegative oxygen atom, which further reduce the electron density around the proton. Third, hydrogen bonding effect. Proton which exhibit hydrogen bonding OH minus OH and minus NH2 protons show variable absorption of position over a wide range. Since hydrogen bonding decreases the electron density in the OH bond, therefore the proton involved in hydrogen bonding gets de-shielded. Further, stronger the hydrogen bond, more de-shielding is the proton. The extent of a hydrogen bonding, however, depends upon concentration, temperature, and nature of the solvent. Thus, in concentration solution, hydrogen bonding predominates and hydrogen bond protons appear in the range 4 to 5 delta. But at high dilution, hydrogen bonding does not occur as the oxygen-hydrogen proton absorb in the range 0.5 to 1.0 delta. Important generalization. On the basis of above discussion, the following important generalization can be made regarding molecule structure and chemical shift. Electronegatively, atoms such as oxygen, nitrogen, and halogen de-shield the proton and the absorption shift downfield. Conventionally, electropositive atoms such as silicon increase the electron density around the proton. As a result, proton gets shielded and the absorption shift upfield. The sigma electron of the carbon-carbon bond de-shielded the proton attached to it. Thus, 3 note is the more de-shielded than 2 note, which in turn is more de-shielded than a 1 note. However, hydrogen attached to carbon in highly trained cyclopropane ring absorb at highest field around 0.5 delta. Thus, chemical shift in delta value decrease in the order. Second, due to anisotropic effect, the pi electron of aromatic, olefin, and the carbon double bonded O bond have strong de-shielding effect on the attached proton. The order of a de-shielding is. Fourth, due to the strong electron withdrawing effect, the carbonyl group de-shielding protons are a alpha carbon. Similarly, benzyl and acyl proton are de-shielded relative to proton on saturated carbon atom. Fifth, hydrogen bonding de-shielding the proton. Sixth, in carboxylic acid, due to resonance and strong -I effect of the oxygen atom, the electron density around hydrogen decreases signification, and thus the proton of the OH group of acid get highly de-shielded and thus absorbed in the region 10.5 to 12 delta. Example 6. How can PMR spectroscopy be used in distinction between ethane, ethyne, and acetine? Each of these compounds containing only one of type of proton, and hence each compound would show only one signal. It is PMR spectrum. However, the chemical shift of signal in the 3 PMR spectra would be different. First, the proton of CH bond in saturated compound are highly shielded. Therefore, CH3 show one signal around 0.9 delta or 9.1 tau. Second, the circulation of a pi electron in CH2 double bond CH2 produced an induced field which reinforced the applied field at the proton, and hence ethyne proton are de-shielded and produce a signal around 5.3 delta or 4.7 delta. Third, the circulation of a pi electron in Sc111CH produce an induced field which opposes the applied magnetic field at the proton, and hence acetylene proton are shielded related to ethyne proton and thus produce a PMR spectrum around 2.0 delta or 8.0 delta. Now, peak area and proton counting. We have discussed above that the number of a signal in the PMR spectrum of any organic compound tell us as to how many different kind of equivalent proton are present and their position or chemical shift tell us too as to what type of proton each signal represents. Besides these, it is also possible to determine the number of protons giving rise to particular signal by measuring the relative intensity of the signal. The intensity of a PMR signal means the area under the absorption peak and not merely the highly of the peak. Further, the area under a particular peak is directly proportional to the number of equivalent protons giving rise to the signal. In other words, the relative area up under the different peak gives relative number of protons different kinds present in a molecule of a given compound. The peak area of a different signal in the PMR spectrum are measured by electronic integration, and the process is called integration. The integration of a signal are shown on the chart in the form of a stepper up curve called internal curve. The height of the step are then proportional to the peak area. Since the NMR chart paper is generally cross-hatched, we can easily calculate the height of the step by simply counting the number of squares. The relative peak area are then converted into a simple whole number ratio by dividing each area by the lowest area. This ratio or a simple multiply of it gives the exact number of protons of the each kind present in this molecule. Consider, for example, spectrum toluenes. Spectrum contains two peaks, one at delta 2.32 due to methyl proton and other at delta 7.17 due to aromatic proton. The ratio of a square is 6:10 or 3:5. Thus, the actual number of methyl and ring proton is 3 and 5 respectively. Plating of a signal spin-spin coupling. We have discussed about that the number of signal in a PMR spectrum is equal to the number of a different type of protons present in the molecule. In other words, every set of equivalent protons give one PMR signal. This is, of course, true for some molecule, but the PMR spectrum of most of the organic compounds are much more complicated than we can expect in view of the above statement. To illustrate this, let us consider the PMR spectrum of a 1,1,2 tribromomethane. This compound contains two kinds of protons and hence its PMR spectrum is expected to show only two peaks. But in its actual PMR spectrum shows many 5 peaks. Similarly, PMR spectrum of a 1,1 dibromomethane shows 6 instead of 2, and that of ethyl bromide contains 7 instead of 2 peaks. Thus, it is followed that the signal from the each set of equivalent proton does not appear and a signal peaks, but usually appear as a group of peaks. This is commonly known as splitting of a PMR signal. Splitting of a PMR signal has been found to depend upon the environment of a absorbing proton with respect to the proton on the existing atom. In other words, the splitting of a PMR signal can be explained by assuming that the magnetic field experienced by one set of equivalent protons is influenced by the spin arrangement of the protons present on the existent atom. To illustrate this, let us consider two existent carbon atoms, one carrying two secondary protons and the other carrying one tertiary proton. The actual magnetic field which a secondary proton feels at any particular moment is increased or decreased slightly by the spin orientation of a nearby tertiary proton. The field would be increased if the spin of a tertiary proton is found to be aligned with the field at that moment, and decreased if the spin of the tertiary proton is found to be aligned against the applied field. But it is reasonable to assume that at any field must be equal. In other words, half the molecule of a secondary proton will fill in increased field and will thus absorb slightly downfield. The remaining half will fill a decreased field and with thus absorb slightly upfield. Thus absorption signal is split up into two peaks called doublets with equal instant. Let us now since the splitting of PMR signal is due to different spin state of the adjacent proton, it is referred to as a spin-spin splitting or spin-spin coupling, and the number of peaks to which a given signal is split into called the multiplicity of a signal. Let us now examine the multiplicity of a tertiary proton signal. Evidence it would be affected by the spin combination of two adjacent secondary protons. Now there are four equally probable combinations of a spin allegation for the two protons, out of which two combinations are equivalent as shown in figures. Consequently, the tertiary proton field any one of the three fields, and hence the signal is split into the three equally speed peaks called a triplet. The relative intensity of the three peaks in this triplet are 1:2:1. The central peak will be almost double in intensity that the two outer peaks due to the combined probability of the two equivalent combinations. It is interesting to note that the spacing between the two peaks of the doublet is exactly the same as the spacing between any two adjacent peaks of the triplet. This is due to the reason that spin-spin coupling is a reciprocal process and the coupled protons affect each other to the same extent. This spacing is how is called a coupling constant. In the light of a above argument, the PMR spectrum of a 1,12 tribromoethane consists of one doublet due to the proton on the C2 and one triplet due to the proton on C1. Further integration has revealed that the total area under the doublet is twice the area under the triplet, indicator that the doublet is due to the two proton and triplet is due to one proton. Let us now consider a system of a two adjacent carbon atoms, one carrying three primary protons and the other one tertiary proton. We have discussed above that a PMR signal is split into doublet by one nearby proton and into a triplet by two equivalent nearby protons. Working on similar lines, we can safely predict that the three equivalent nearby protons will split a signal into four peaks called a quadrate with 1:3:3:1 intensity. It can be easily seen from figures that there are 8 possible combinations of a spin state of a three primary protons. However, there are two sets of their equivalent combinations. Therefore, there are only four effective combinations. Consequently, the tertiary proton field any one of these four fields at any moment. Therefore, the tertiary proton signal is split up into four equally spaced peaks called a quadrate. Similarly, we can predict that a single signal due to three primary protons will be split into 1:1 doublet by the one nearby tertiary proton. In the light of the above argument, the PMR spectrum of ethylene bromide consists of a 1:1 doublet due to C2 proton and a 1:3:1 quadrate due to C1 proton. Further integration has revealed that the total area under the doublet is 3 times the area under the quadrate, indicating thereby that the doublet is due to three equivalent protons and the quadrate is due to one proton only. Lastly, let us consider the moles of ethyl bromides. Its PMR spectrum as expected show as 1:3:3:1 quadrate due to 2 equivalent methylene protons and 1:2:1 triplet due to 3 equivalent methyl protons. Since the 2 protons on the carbon atom carrying the bromine atom are deshielding, due to minus I effect of a bromine atom, the 2 proton quadrate will appear at a lower field than the 3 proton triplet. In actual practice, it has been found to be so. The 3 proton triplet absorb at delta 1.7 while the 2 proton quadrate absorb at delta 3.4. Here again it will be found that area under the triplet is 1.5 times the area under the quadrate, indicating thereby that the triplet is due to 3 equivalent protons and the quadrate is due to 2 equivalent protons. Thank you. Now second part in next video. Starting from rules for spin splitting of proton signal. Okay.